Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace, or Gibby, whatever you prefer, and today I'm here with another Yulgar only guide. Now, the Yulgar only series is where I take a character that I only give it items from shops you can get to without quests, and I take on whatever quest with powerful items, whatever new quest, or quest with a difficult boss, and show that any player can beat this boss. Now, if you have stronger items, feel free to use those instead of copying my inventory one-to-one. It's mainly to show not exactly what items to use, but how to use basic items or any items to beat a boss. Now the quest I'm going to be taking on today is the Summit, which is a new quest and it doesn't yet have a location on the travel map, so if you're looking at this near in the future, may as well check the wiki for where the quest hub ended up. With all that being said, there are some great item rewards for this quest, and I'm excited to show them to you at the end of the video. I will also do a commentary over the boss fight, since that was tripping some people up. And I have two methods. One is very accessible, just simple attacking the boss down. The other is a stunlocking method, which you need some other item requirements for. That being said, let's get into the video. Okay, so here we are at the boss of the quest, the Godscourge Husk. Depending on your level, I'm on a 135 Adventurer. It'll have a little bit more than 10,000 HP. I think on 150 it's about 13,000, but no real difference. So this boss has really high resistances and also a very high damage cap, 600 plus with 0.75 clawback, which means if you overkill the damage cap, you're not punished too hardly. It also has boss boost and freedom. Now, its mechanics are that it attacks with dark for its SP attack. So let's switch into my dark armor and dark shield. And what weapon am I gonna use? Probably just my wind spear. I'll also get a wind pet, and I don't think I have a light guest, but no big deal. But as you can see, it does 289 damage, and you could see the pop-up. You resist or fail to resist the burning contagion. Now, the burning contagion is a disease effect, and the disease effect deals disease to the player, blocking all forms of healing up to 2.5 times the damage it deals. So it did 239. It would have blocked, math is on my feet is hard, but about 600 HP of healing. So if you're in the wrong armor, oh, whoops, I think I'm in the wrong armor. So you'll see I'll get hit with wind here, and I'll take a lot of damage because I forgot about it. But the monster is very simple. It simply attacks with dark for its SP attack, and then attacks with wind every other turn. And the dark can inflict disease, 2.5 times the amount of damage it deals, or you can resist the disease. On release, it was bugged to inflict way more disease, do way more damage, and be unresistable, almost. But luckily, that's not the case anymore. So you can now resist the disease, and the disease isn't as strong. So, with that being said, the boss attacks with dark on its SP attack, defend against dark and you'll be fine, and attacks with wind normally. It does hit pretty hard, but aside from that, you should have no issues. Now, the other thing that's happening is it's losing mana, and that's because it has this mana burn effect. If you completely deplete all of its mana, what will happen is the boss will lose freedom. So when it loses mana, it also takes 1.5 times incoming damage. So all of your damage towards the boss will be greatly boosted. So if you do happen to have Necromancer or another way to damage mana that's pretty efficient, I'd say go for it. Damage out its mana first, rush it down, and then kill the rest of the boss because you'll get a huge damage boost. Yep, that's pretty much it. I just had to edit this in and correct what I was going to say. There's not a perfect way to stunlock this boss, but I'm going to show you guys a pretty reliable method in the clip after this one. But as you can see, oh, I might take a lot of damage here if I don't kill it. But as long as you're paying attention and you switch armors back and forth for dark for the SP and wind for the normal attacks, you'll be just fine and the boss doesn't pose a challenge. I took an extra 1k on a wind attack or two because I was in the wrong armor, but I was still fine. So yeah, this boss isn't really too much of a challenge when you know what it does. Okay, so the next clip is going to be the stunlocking method, accessible stunlocking method, and then I'm going to show the shops. So here is going to be my method to stunlock the boss. Now it's not a perfect method, unfortunately, and it does have some caveats, and the main caveat is requiring a lot more items than most of my other methods. And that's just because the boss has boss boost, and they don't have the best stunlocking methods easily available. But as you can see, right now what I'm doing is I'm just nuking through the boss's mana. I'm using some pay-to-win items, but that's not important. Just what to do once you get through the boss's mana is. And so you'll see in a little bit, I pull out a status potency setup, and I use Spotter Drake, Necromancer armor for the minus 7.5 potency, Spotter Drake for minus 9.7, I think, at my stat line, and also the Umazin Aspis shield, which gives 20 paralyzed potence. Then I'm using the Regal Corgi Guest, and I have Charisma and Luck investment, so I'm winning the major and minor rolls. That on its own is a 90% success chance to land a Paralyze, And you'll probably be good with just that because it's 150 to water. So it has a 50% chance of doing a 2-turn paralyze and a 50% chance of doing a 1-turn paralyze. So on average, you'll stack up extra turns even with a 90% success rate. But if you want to be a little safer, you can add a potency misc on top. I'm using the 20th anniversary cupcake. There's a free-to-play item, but it's buggy, so don't use it. It doesn't work with Umis and Aspis. And then you could also use Optico or another generic 10 potency misc. But that's pretty much it for the stun locking guide. As you can see, I just attack the boss to death, and the stuns only get built up longer and longer. Nothing you can really do if you stun lock it, so that's kind of fun. There are, of course, other ways to stun lock the boss, but this was the way I thought used a very easily accessible guest and was pretty reliable if you had the right items. That being said, thanks for watching, and next up you will see the item shop.
A lot of dialogue in this quest. Probably going to edit this part out, but if not, feel free to enjoy it with me. Ooh, spooky boy. Okay, so here are the rewards. It's 3 weapons. The Ashland Piercer, the Gale Force Argent Point, and the Blazing Argent Point. Now these two are exactly the same. They are auto-hit toggle ranged weapons in the style of Burden of Insight. So you can click them and you deal 0.8 outgoing damage. Now, Burden of Insight used to have defensive penalties. These weapons don't have that, and Burden of Insight doesn't have it either now. These are both great ranged weapons. I would recommend them to anyone looking for ranged auto-hit. Ashland Piercer is a 100 proc bow. It can switch between earth and light, and it can also burn for an SP cost. Very nice to have. I really do like this weapon. I'm going to use it for an Omni Ranger video in the future. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I have planned for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was useful to you, and have a great day. Peace and love.